The Cameroonian government has informed the federal government of Nigeria that it would soon open its Lagdo Dam to prevent deaths and other disasters associated with flooding. States that are likely to be affected have asked residents of the flood-prone areas to evacuate such communities. According to the National Emergency Management Agency officials, no fewer than 11 states, including Adamawa, Taraba, Benue, Nasarawa, Kogi, Anambra, Edo, Delta, Bayelsa, Rivers, and Cross River states are likely to feel the negative impact of the opening of the dam. And of course, we still have Dr. Dayo Kayode in the house having this conversation with us. The whole flooding situation is not new, actually, to Nigerians. Some communities and states in Nigeria has been complaining about flooding for the longest time. Anambra is one of them for the longest time. And I think it became a bit worse in 2022 when we had this really strong issue of heavy rainfalls and flooding happening during the rainy season last year. A lot of conversation came up about how that people who were relevant agencies and stakeholders who were supposed to be in charge of this situation did little or next to nothing about, keeping people aware of what is coming and, making plans to evacuate people. Or, of course, the neighboring countries had warned you that they will be opening their dams. What did you do about it? And we're having the same situation almost repeating itself this time. It's been in the news for a couple of weeks now. Cameroon saying the Lagdo Dam will be opening up very soon, sending out information. However, we still haven't heard any official statements, any proper information from relevant agencies. I'm talking about NMA, I'm talking about
NEMA.
Yes, I'm talking about a National Orientation Agency. These people are supposed to be putting out radio jingles by now, having meetings or doing something. We haven't. How do you react to this, Dr. D?
You see, interestingly, I have done a lot of research when it comes to weather-related emergencies. I've done with the Nigeria Meteorological Service, with NEMA, even with NOA, and all that. And one thing that is very common among all of them, that is their commonality, is lack of proper equipment. All right? When you're talking of equipment, you also want to talk about manpower. Not just manpower, quality. The quality of the manpower. Who are those people manning those agencies? Are they not like my brother Aregbesola during the last administration, after going for a retreat with the all other members of the executive, and then he said, he's not even aware what is happening in his ministry. He doesn't know anything happening there. And that was why he couldn't get anything substantial as his achievement in that particular ministry. So also, go and check all those agencies and go and look at the people that are there. Do they even understand what we call data collection and analysis? Talk less of how to use such to prepare for eventualities, which definitely will happen. No matter your level of, because it's always better to prevent, all right, than to address. But human nature, even when you prevent, somehow, you see some occurrences happening. Now, when such happens, what do? Are they technically equipped to be able to manage it? Do they have the wherewithal to even prepare for it? When it comes to emergency management, you have to first of all envisage, even when it's not happening. When it's not happening, you have to first of all envisage, supposing. Then you even do some mock exercises as regards, and that's why you see our fire service personnel do some mock exercises along the line. To what extent has NEMA been doing that? All right. Even at that, do they have the requisite technicalities to manage it when it happens?
I mean, why are they, the agency, saddled with these types of responsibilities if they do not have the requisite skills, the requisite
I will now tell you, it is all about political patronage. What would you expect of a youth corper being appointed as a minister for, in whatever form, in any ramification? What would you expect of such a person? A youth corper. Why that youth corper? Maybe somebody somewhere who is supposed to be patronized had nominated her based on only God knows the relationship between them.
Right.
I mean, these are things that came to my mind when I saw that.
All right,
and to that extent, you will see why our nation is not performing, because we always put the wrong peg in the right, in the wrong hole. How will we get there? And that is why I wrote along the line. I said, justice is a prerequisite for peace, while peace, on the other hand, is a prerequisite to economic growth, social and political development. Without that, this is what we'll be seeing. And I said that while I was trying to x-ray all that happened at the Presidential Judicial Tribunal, that this sinking democratic ship of this nation is now in the hands of our judiciary to ensure that it's being saved.
All right.
And it is only that all these things we are talking about can now become a things of the past, whereby Nigeria will now be able to assume its position, its rightful position in the Committee of Nations.
All right, while we are yet to, ponder over your theory and, of course, your analysis on the issue that has to do with development of the state. Now, let's look into your earlier comment when it comes to mock practices by these agencies, because we're looking at a disaster that is yet to come. And you're talking about mock practices that have not been implemented or seem to be put in practice before this happens. So
they have not been embarked upon.
Helping our viewers to understand what are those mock practices that could mitigate this issue of flooding, especially persons or people who live in low plains.
Yeah, you see, when I'm talking about mock practices, I just made a reference. It was just a bypass reference when I was talking about preparedness. And I was talking about the fire service. Now, you see, the one that NMA supposed to have been doing is by visiting all these flashpoints